Hello there. This is lecture number 5, and I'm going to create exercises 13, 14, and 15. As you know, there are 10 lectures in this series. Each lecture lasts approximately 1 hour. A different lecture is given each week at this same time. If you prefer that the lectures be given at a different time, please let me know, and I'll try to accommodate you. In the last lecture, number 4, I showed how to extrude objects when using Autocad. I demonstrated how to make a positive extrusion, how to make a negative extrusion, how to make an extrusion with a positive taper, how to make an extrusion with a negative taper. In this lecture, you'll learn how to extrude along any given path. First, I will extrude the red profile on the right. After extrude is entered, I'll select P to indicate that I want to extrude along a path and pick anywhere on the red polyline. You'll notice that the profile was extruded along that path. Next, I'll enter the extrude command again and pick the green circle. Type P to pick the green extrusion path. The path used here was a spline curve. Finally, I'll press the spacebar to restart the extrude command and pick the blue ellipse and its path and press enter. Please note that an extrusion path can be at any distance from the profile to be extruded. And now would be a good time to get started in creating, that is, the drawings for of the exercises. To start exercise 13, I'll go into model space, change layer, make one current, then I'll draw a line. Anywhere on the screen I'll start it, go to the left, 3 enter, up 1.88 enter, right 3 enter, C to close, zoom in, and I'll leave it there. Now I'm going to copy the entire rectangle, move it down. This will be the front view. Now I have to draw the right view. I'll type C enter, 2P enter, that's 2 points. I'm going to put Yo snap on, and I'm going to draw a circle using 2 points. Here's 1, here's 2, M enter. Select circle, move it over to the right. Now you'll want to make layer center current, and you'll want to draw a line from the midpoint here out there like that. Draw another line from the midpoint on the front view here, and then you'll want to move them so that they cross the other side, because that's what a center line is supposed to do. It goes through an object. And we're going to go to dimension mark, which is here, and put that. I think I'll start with the right side view. First off, we're going to go back to making layer 1 current. Okay. I'm going to draw a line from this intersection here and move it. Enter, move it back like that. Then we're going to enter, offset, select the object, enter. Oh, that's wrong. We're going to just type enter, give a distance of 0.38, enter, move that down there. And we're going to extend EX enter to the circle, that end, and that end. Then we're going to O again, offset, and this time 0.56, enter. We'll offset on that side and on that side, and we'll extend EX enter to this chord, both these lines. And then we're going to erase unnecessary construction lines, and we're going to trim TR enter from the circle, these two lines. And this time we'll use the paintbrush to match these lines up properly so that they're all on layer 1. Then I'm going to zoom previous. To continue, we're going to type enter, 1.88, enter, and move this line back. Then we're going to enter twice to offset 0.75, enter, and move this line back. Then we're going to offset again, enter twice, 0.75, enter, and move that up and that down. And we'll offset one more time, 0.56, enter, that line there. Enter, 0.56. Now you can use the fillet command to, it's not going to be easy. I made it difficult for myself. So I'm going to use the fillet command and clean up this corner. And enter, trim from here, fillet, copy this line down. There's a lot of ways of doing it. Don't worry about how you do it, as long as you get it done. F enter. F enter again. fill it again, here and here. And I think I can erase this line. I must add 2 lines there, maybe 3 lines. Okay, now we want to trim from these 2 lines here. And we want to use the match property, the paintbrush, to put this drawing on the same layer, which is layer 1. And the drawing finally looks correct. The top view looks okay, so I'll zoom previous. And we have to work on the front view. First thing you can do is to copy this line and drag it down here. Hit the space bar. You can also copy that line and drag it over here. You can also draw a line here and move it down here. And you can draw a line from here and move it over here. Now you can use the fillet command to clean up the intersections. And you'll want to trim from that line, and I guess we also want to trim from that line. Looking at it, it looks correct. At this point, it might be smart to make a copy of this drawing and move it up here, because that's going to be the solid model basis. Now I guess what we want to do is dimension the object. So we'll go to Layer, make DIM current, and we'll simply start dimensioning with a linear dimension tool. I'll go from there to there. 0.75, that looks right. And from here to here, that looks right. And so does that. Also, I can zoom in here a little bit and start dimensioning this. We have a dimension from here and also a dimension here to here. And I suppose I can pan over and go to the dimension toolbar here and pick the diameter of this object like that. Then zoom previous. It looks as though we have the dimension correct. If I wanted to change the center line, I could simply type LTS, enter. Instead of a scale factor of 1, I'll guess it's 0.75. It looks better. Okay. Now we'll want to try and make a solid model of the object, so we're going to make solid layer current. Okay. I'm going to pan, zoom real time, make it smaller, then pan over, exit, pan, And I'm going to move M into the solid thing, put it over here, say like that. Also, I think I'm going to have to copy it. So I'm going to type CO enter or copy. I'll copy it 3 times. I'm not quite sure why yet. Let's zoom in on a couple of them. I know one thing, we don't need the center line, so we can erase them. Also, we can break BR enter. I can break this line here. Enter, first enter from here to here, and then erase these 2 lines. Also, I want to break this line. Enter, F enter, undo. I don't know what happened there. Well, there's a lot of ways of doing it. I can trim. Let's say I trim. No, let's say I break first of all. I'm going to break this arc. I'll pick any 2 points. And then I'm going to trim from that line and that line. Enter that and that. And I'm going to trim from this line into this. And I'll erase this. And I'll pan down. I think I'm making this more difficult than it should be. I'm going to copy this again. Copy. Now I'm going to break this arch here. Undo. I'm going to break. BR, enter. I'll just pick 2 points. And I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim from that line and that line. Enter that and that. And erase. No, I won't. I'm going to have to fill it or trim it. I'm going to trim from that line into that. And erase this. Now I think I'm going to move this up here. So I don't know, I'm getting kind of confused. I'll erase this and shrink the whole thing down. And I'm going to move this up here somewhere. Then pan and zoom with the window. Okay. Now we don't really need the center lines here that I can see. Well, we'll leave it there. First, I think what I want to do is polyline edit. Make that a polyline yes. J, enter. I'll select both lines. Hit enter twice. Repeat the command. Polyline edit this line. Yes. Join, enter, J, enter. Select everything. Enter twice. And do the same on the other side. Polyline edit. Yes. J, enter. And select it twice. And now what I want to do is to select this, change the layer, put it on layer solid. It'll go from layer 1 to layer solid. Hit escape to get rid of the grips. I'll use the paintbrush and select the other two objects. Actually, I'll just, this is a funny way to do it, but I'm going to do it this way anyway. I'll move that over there, and then I'm going to use the paintbrush on that as well. And I'm going to move the segment from the quad, which is here, to the quad, which is there. And I'm going to move this one here, from this intersection here to that intersection. And I'm going to move this from this intersection to that intersection, and I'll erase this business in here. Now I'm in a position to move into southeast isometric, but I'm way off base, so I'm going to move solid portion a little closer, like that, then zoom with a window. The next thing you want to do, I trust, is to type EXT extrude. I want to extrude the big circle. I want it to go down, so I'm going to type -3. I want to repeat the command, and I want to extrude this segment as well as this segment. Enter. I want it to go down, so it's -0.75. Also, I want to extrude this segment. Enter. I want to go down, and that's -1.88. Now I think you'll want to subtract. So we're going to go here to subtract from the big cylinder, that segment, and that segment. Enter. Enter. I'm going to use zoom real time. Doesn't look right, it looks weird. Well, anyway, I'm going to 3D rotate that. Pick a base point here at the center of that, right there, like that. Red one, and we'll type 90 and pan upward. Give it some shading. It does look right, but it's in the wrong direction. In order to correct the direction, I'll get rid of the shading, and I'll use 3D rotate to select the object, enter, put it there, select the blue ribbon, and type 90. Hopefully that'll be correct. It looks right. Shade it, right. So now we can Z enter, E enter, go into top view, then go into layout mode or paper space, change layer, make reports current, type MV, enter, and make a big window. Repeat the command, make small window, double click, southeast isometric, pan, zoom with the window, or real time, whichever you get used to. Double click outside, click on the 2D drawing frame, and then go to annotation scale. I guess it's got to be a half. Got a little bigger. Double click inside, then just pan to locate it properly. Then if you want, you can go to layer and you can make layer 1 current with viewports freeze. The reason the dimensions are smaller is because I forgot to change the dim scale. If I want to correct the dim scale, what do I have to do? Well, one thing I can do is to go back into layers, the viewports layer, double click inside, or even go into model space, doesn't really matter. And I can type DIMSCALE, dim scale, make it 2, enter. Then I can just put any old dimension up here. And you'll see, well, it's bigger. I gotta make the dimension layer current. Now I can put any dimension up here. And I can use the match property to I just select them. That's all you gotta do is select them. Of course, you might have to move them around a bit. Whatever, but you get the idea. So now I could go back into layout mode and the drawing looks a little bit better. And I can finish up by freezing the viewports layer. Of course, you should try to make a drawing look perhaps a little neater than what I've done here. But that's for tutorial 13. Thank you for your patience. So let's start project 14. I'll type C enter, pick a C enter, pick a point, D enter, 2 enter. I'll zoom in, C enter, I'll snap to the center, D enter, 1 enter. And now I'll go to dimension toolbar and put in the center lines. And then I'll zoom it down a bit, pan over, and I'll draw a line from this intersection here down. Draw another line from here over. And another line I'm going to offset. O enter, 0.63 enter, offset 1.38 enter. Then I'm going to copy this line and drag it over here like that. Hit enter or escape. F enter. I'll clean up the right side view. Now what you ought to do is trim from both of these circles the extra line here and there. Oh, try it again. Trim from that circle and to that and that as well. Now you want to offset. Oh, enter. 0.125, enter. This line in that direction. Repeat the command, and there. Also, you can offset, enter. 0.625, enter. Offset 0.625, enter. Select this center point here, center mark there, and bring it down here like that. And then zoom in. Then we're going to type BR enter to break. I'm going to break this arc. F for the first point here, then select the second point there. And we're going to trim TR enter from this arc, these two lines, and we're going to fill it, F enter, those lines, so it looks right more or less. And I'll zoom previously. Now we'll go to the layer icon and make hidden current and draw a line from here across, hit enter twice, another line from here across, hit enter twice, and then we're going to trim TR enter from here, here, and here, enter all these extra lines. Then we should select the center lines. I'm going to select the center line, also that center line, and I'm going to change its property by putting it on a different layer, the center layer. It should all turn red, which it does. And I can now draw a line from here over to here, and I can make that a center line by selecting that line and going to property and putting it on a layer called center. And I can try to clean it up a little bit. I suppose if I were to break it from here to here, then I could move it, enter this, make it look better. Also, I could move this like that and break that as well. Although I suppose you don't really need that. Probably better to move this line closer to balance it. Okay, now we can dimension the object. I'll make DIM current, M, enter, separate the views so that there's more room. I can put a linear dimension from here to here. Then another dimension from here to here. And another one and I think we've got it all dimensioned. Of course, if you want to change something, you can ED, enter, edit. I can delete that and type 0.625 and click OK, etc., etc. Also, you know that if you want to, you can click on the grips, get rid of ortho, get rid of O-snap, and just drag it up to wherever you want it. Now we're ready to change the layer to solid, make it current, and I can zoom real time to shrink down the drawing, pan to move it over. Then we'll want to copy that view, drag it up here, zoom in on it. Actually, I think I want to make two views, so I'm going to shrink this down a bit. Then I'm going to copy this view down here, anywhere. What I'll do is type BR enter and simply break that two places and break this two places. Now what I want to do is trim from these two lines, enter all these excesses, make two parts out of it. Okay. Also, we want to erase these lines here, as well as the center line. Then what we want to do is to make a window and change the property and put all of it from layer 1 to layer solid. Should turn red. And we want to type PE enter, polyline edit. Make that a polyline, yes, enter. J, enter. Now that's all one polyline. And we'll do the same here. PE enter. Make it a polyline, yes. J, enter. Make that a polyline. Enter twice. And we're free now to move into southeast isometric view, to pan over and zoom with the window to enlarge what's going to be the solid. Now you'll want to type EXT to extrude, and we'll select this portion. That's going to be a height of 0.63, enter. And we're going to extrude this portion and that's going to be a height of 0.75. Enter. Finally, what we want to do is type enter and move this segment from its bottom center to the center try it again. Enter this segment from the center of the bottom to the center of the top and union them together. Also, I think I forgot to subtract them, so we're going to have to subtract from here. Enter, that, enter. And then we're going to have to use the 3D rotate command. Select the object here, and we're going to put that at the center line here. Click on the red axis and type 90. Hopefully it's right. I'll add shading. It looks correct, so I'll Z, enter, E, enter. Move into the top view. Switch to layout mode. Make layer viewport current. Type MV, enter. And then make a large window. Enter, make a smaller window. Double click inside the small window, go to southeast isometric, and then I want to pan. Zoom with the window. Double click outside. Click on the large viewport, go to annotation scale, and the scale of this object is going to be 1:1. Double click inside, then pan. That'll hide the object and show the 2D drawing. Exit, double click outside, go to layer, make layer 1 or any layer, current, freeze viewports. And for all intents and purposes, you must, don't forget to save the drawing as number 14. It looks correct in all respects. So thank you for watching, and we'll move on. Exercise 15. Looks like an easy one, so let's get started. I'll draw a line anywhere. Two, enter. 1.25, enter. 2, enter. C to close. Zoom window. Pan. Copy. I'll copy with a crossing. C, enter. Anything I touch will be selected. Drag it down to start the front view. Escape. Also, I'm going to offset. O, enter. 1.25, enter. And fill it with the radius 0 to make sure we have a good intersection. Now I'm going to copy again with the crossing windows. C, enter. Anything I touch will be selected. Drag it over here. Escape. And I'm going to offset. O, enter. 1.25, enter. hit escape, F enter, fill it, radius 0, clean up these two intersections. O, enter. 0.25, enter. Let's work in this view first. Hit enter twice, repeat the command. 0.63, enter. And enter 0.63 again from this point over here. Hit escape, F enter, fill it, radius 0. We can clean up that intersection and this intersection, and that view looks correct. Now we'll type O, enter, 0.63, enter. And we can do it down here as well. Then we can copy this line and this line and bring them over here. Hit escape or enter. And we can fill it with a radius 0. Hit the space bar or the enter key. And the front view looks correct. Now all we got to do is offset O, enter, 0.63, enter this line, and then trim it. TR, enter, trim from there, enter that. And the three views are correct. The scale is 1:1, so we don't have to change anything. I already set, so the dim scale is okay. It's 1, which is the default. Now we're going to go to the dimension, DIM, and make that current. And the first thing we'll do is put a dimension from here to here. Don't like the looks of that. I'll erase it. And I'll do it in reverse. I'll select this point first, then down here. Just as bad. But we'll accept it. Enter from here to here. Okay. 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 And we'll have to shrink it down with zoom real time. And then move, M, enter, the right side view to give us more room for dimensioning. And so we'll put a dimension, a linear dimension from here to here. Spacebar, and another one from here to here. And of course, as you know, if you take off ortho and you take off OSNAP, you'll be able to click on a dimension, and then locate it where you want it, and pick that point. So the drawing and the dimensions look adequate. So I'm going to scale it down, then pan over as usual, and we're going to make layout solid current. And to do this one, we're going to take a rectangle. I'll have to put on object snap and ortho and leave ortho off. So we'll do a rectangle. 2 diagonal points. M, enter, L, enter. Then move that up here. Hit the space bar. No, we don't want move, so we're going to go back to rectangle. 2 points. M, enter, L, enter. Move that up here somewhere. And we're going to do another rectangle from here to here. M, enter, L, enter. And move that over here. Move into southeast isometric. Pan and zoom. Uh, 1.25 minus 0.63 is 0.62, so we're going to EXT, extrude this piece, 0.62, enter. Also, we're going to extrude this rectangle, 0.62, enter. And finally, we're going to extrude EXT, enter, this piece, which is 0.63 minus 0.25, which is 0.38, enter. And now we have to move them into their proper location. M, enter. I'm going to move this piece from here to here. And move this one from here to here. Then we're going to union the whole bit and see what it looks like in the shade. Looks correct, so we'll Z, enter, E, enter. Go to top view. You don't really have to do this at this time, but we did it. Click on the layout button. Make the viewports layer current. Type MV, enter. And then pick 2 points. I think I'll take off object snap because I want to make this big, like this. Repeat the command and make a smaller one here. Double click inside. Southeast isometric. And as usual, we're going to pan and zoom. Double click outside. Select the large frame. Click the arrow. Go to 1 to 1. It's an annotative scale. Double click inside the viewport. Then simply pan to set the drawing properly. Looks okay. Double click outside. Now we'll go to layer, set 1, current, freeze, viewports. And this drawing looks good enough. And so that's exercise number 15. Thank you for watching. This video will show how to align two objects in 2D. The first thing to do is to make the command line active, type AL, enter, and select the objects. I'll select them with a window. Enter. I'll have to pick the first point, but I need OSNAP to be on. So I'll connect these 2 points. Then I'll connect these 2 points. I'll press enter to end the command. The selected objects are moved from the source point to the destination point, and second and third points, if I specified them, will rotate and tilt the selected objects. In this video, you will learn how to draw an arc by specifying 3 points. I'll pick on the command line to make it active, type A, enter, and I need a start point. OSNAP is on, so I can pick this point, then I'll pick a point for the arc, and then the end point. I could do that again by hitting enter or the space bar to repeat the command. Take my first point, second point, and end point. Now we'll see how to use the break command to break an object, whether it be a line, a circle, or an arc. Of course, we'll make the command line active and type BR, enter, which is the alias for break, and we'll select the line, and we're going to take OSNAP off, and what we have to do is pick a point. You don't have to actually touch the line. I can repeat the command and pick another 2 points like that, or whatever. Keep doing it. Either go right to left or left to right, it doesn't matter. This time I'll hit enter or the space bar, and I'll select this line here. I'll type F, enter, put the object snap back on, and select my first intersection and then my second intersection, and you see that the line in between has disappeared. Also, we'll take off the object snap, we'll hit the space bar to repeat the command, and we'll try it on the circle. We'll pick 2 points, hit the space bar or enter key, another 2 points. You'll notice that I'm doing it counterclockwise. When you break a circle, you always have to do it counterclockwise. You don't actually have to touch it but get close to it. And that looks reasonably well. In this video, we'll learn how to chamfer objects. I have here a plate and a round shaft. So the first thing I'll do is to type CHA, enter. Then I'll type D, enter. And I'll type 0.25, enter. That establishes one distance. I'll hit enter, that establishes the second distance. Now all I got to do is select 2 lines. Hit enter or the space bar to repeat the command and select another 2 lines. Repeat the command by hitting the space bar or enter key, and then do the last one. As far as the shaft goes, I'm going to type CHA, enter again, try it. CHA, enter. D, enter. This time the distance will be 0.06, enter. And I'll enter it again because I want it at 45 degrees. So now I'll select the corner, repeat it down there, and again on this side, and again here. And since this is a shaft, and looking at it from the outside, there should be a line here. So I'm going to put a line with object snap-on from here to here, enter, repeat the command from here to here. And the drawing looks correct, so we'll move on. In this case, we will learn to draw a circle by specifying a center point and radius or diameter. And so I'm going to type C enter, then I'll type R enter, and with those snap on, pick the left end point, move the mouse. I'll type R enter for the radius and type 0.19, enter. Repeat the command by hitting the enter or space key. Select the other end of the line. Now I'm going to type D enter, and I'll type 0.75, enter. And that looks right. In this case, we're going to copy an object using 2 points. So on the command line, I'll type CO enter. I'll select the circle on the left, enter. A base point, I'll select the quadrant using object snap, the quadrant, and I'll put that at the end point of the vertical line. Hit escape. Repeat the command. I'll select the circle. I'll pick the quadrant again, but this time I'll pick that left side quadrant, then bring it over here and put it at the end point there, and hit enter or escape to complete the command. And that looks okay. Here in this video, we'll learn how to insert points to mark equal segments. The first thing I want to do is to type PDMODE. The reason for that is I want to make sure I've got a mark here. 0, 1, 2, 3 all have different marks. So I'm going to accept 3 as the mark. Now I'm going to type DIV, enter. I'll select the line, and I'm asked for the number of segments. I'll type 3, enter. I'll repeat the command. I'll select the circle, and they ask for the number of segments, and I'll type 6. So those X's are PD mode 3, and that divides the line. I could draw lines, I could break at those points, and incidentally they're called nodes. These X's are called nodes. So you can break different segments and so forth. I don't think that the erase command requires much explanation. All you have to do is type enter, and you can select individual entities to erase, or you can hit enter, then you can type C enter with a crossing so that anything you touch can be erased, or you can make a window so anything encompassed by the window will be erased, or you can undo. I think that's enough for the erase command. The extend command is pretty straightforward. I'll type EX, enter to extend. I'll select the circle, enter, and then pick any of these points to extend it to the perimeter of the circle. Repeat the command. I can do it one at a time. I want to extend to that line, enter. Repeat the command. I want to extend to this line, enter, that line, enter. Or you can do it multiple at once. For example, I want to extend to both of those lines, enter, then I can extend it like that. That's all you have to know about extend. The fillet command is extremely useful, and I use it all the time. I'll type F enter, R enter, 0.19 enter, and I'll select these two lines. I'll do it again. F enter, R enter. This time the radius will be 0, enter. This is a command you'll use constantly, because I can make a right angle whether the lines are far apart or whatever. So you want to be sure you learn the fillet command, and that's all there is to it. Here we're going to use the hatch command. I'll type H enter. Dialog box comes up, and I'm asked to select objects. So let's say I select the rectangle, enter, dialog box appears again. I don't wish to make any changes to the scale or whatever, so I'll simply say OK. I'll repeat the command. This time I want to change the direction of the hatch marks, so I'll change the angle from 0 to 90. And I'll pick a point. I'll select objects. I'll select the circle, enter, dialog box appears, you click OK, and that's it. Kind of easy and straightforward. Autocad is not as hard as many people think it is once you get into it. Sometimes it's easier to use the mirror command than to use copy or move. In this case, I'll use mirror. MI, enter. I'll select the number 2 on that side, enter. With O snap on, I'll pick that vertical line. I got to pick 2 points like so, and you hit enter. You notice that the 2 does not invert. And I guess that's it for this video. The move command is also straightforward. Simply type M enter, select the circle, go to the intersection there, and drag it to the end point like that. I could mirror that to put the circle on the other end, but instead I'm going to repeat, or I'll use the copy command. So I'm going to copy this, enter, from the quadrant on the left side and drag it over to the other end. Hit enter. And that's that. In this video, we'll offset a circle and a rectangle by specifying a distance. And so on the command line, I'll simply type O enter, and then I'll type in a distance, 0.1, enter. And I can offset the circle any number of times. And also I can offset the rectangle, both inside and outside. as you see. Hit escape to clear the command line, and that's that. In this video, we're going to use the petit command to join polylines, lines and arcs into a single polyline. Of course, you have to have a single polyline as shown in red here in order to be able to extrude it in 3 dimensions. So, to begin with, I'm going to activate the command line and type PE enter. It says select a polyline, so I select a line. I'm asked if I want to turn it into a polyline. I say yes, enter, just hit enter. Then I want to type J enter to join. In other words, I want to join to that line which I just made a polyline, all these other lines. So I select them all and hit enter twice. Now that is a polyline which can be extruded. So same with that one. This is also, petit is also useful to create wide polylines. For example, if I was to type PE enter and select this line, which is a polyline, I can type W enter and specify a new width for all the segments. So I'll type 0.125. Enter. Repeat the command. Select the second line. W for width. Enter. Specify a new width. 0.375. Enter. Repeat the command. Select a polyline. An arc is a polyline. No, it's not. So I guess I have to turn it into a polyline. I'll say yes, enter, and then I'll type W, enter, and specify a width of 0.062, enter. And that's another example of the polyline edit command. In this video, we will create a polar array, and so I'll click the command line to make it active, type AR enter, then click on polar array and select objects button, and I'll select the object. Hit enter, dialog box appears again. I'll click to pick a center point, which will be at the cross section. The total number of items I'll change to 10. I want the angle to fit to be 360 degrees, and so I'll click OK. In this one, we will create a rectangular array. We'll type AR enter on the command line and select rectangular array. Now we'll want to change the rows to 2 and the columns to 3, and we have to select the objects down here. The dialog box appears again, and we should put in dimensions. The row offset would be 0.48, and the column, no, my mistake, the row offset would be 0.59, and the column offset would be 0.48. Then we'll click OK. and that looks all right. The rotate command is another one that I use quite often. All you got to do is type RO enter. I'll select this line and select the base. I want the line to go clockwise, so it has to be a negative number. So I'll simply type minus 30. Repeat the command. This time I'll take this vertical line, enter. There's the base point, and I want to do minus 30 again. Minus 30 again. Then of course I would copy CO enter this line in order to make the before and after the same. We'll learn about putting dimensions on later on. And that's that. The scale command is also pretty straightforward. Just types SC enter, select the object including the dimension, because the dimension will change when you scale it. I'll pick the intersection there, and I'll make it scale it by a factor of 2, enter. And that looks right. I want to drag it down with grips though to improve the appearance. You'll have to take O-snap off to do it right, like that. Hit escape. And that is done for the scale command. Using the trim command is also very helpful. Just type TR enter, and I'll select, say, these two vertical lines, enter. So from those lines I can trim that one, and that one. Or I can just type F enter and draw a line. It's a fence. Then automatically all of them will be trimmed at once. Or I can trim, I'll hit escape, repeat the command. I can trim from the circle anything on the outside, like that. Or if I wanted, I could even trim on the inside like this. I'll hit escape and undo that, just so I'll try it one more time, and this time I'll type TR enter. I want to trim from the circle, enter, and I'll use a fence, F enter. So I want to get rid of those lines, enter, trim again, select objects, F for fence, and then just do it backwards like that. And that does it for this grouping of simple basic AutoCAD commands. Thank you for your attention.